create a EC2 and you delete it. In fact, there's a reserve time.
Right. We are at Cloud Native Talks episode 6 and I'm with Ashish Kumar today. So he's a renowned Cloud Native consultant and I'm familiar with him like long time. So how come I met him and what was the things we discussed till now we will share today. So talking more on the same, I'm Rohit Ghumare, you know, like I'm doing this Cloud Native Talks from previously we have now 5 episodes. So let's welcome Ashish Kumar, our guest, and yeah, you can introduce yourself. You will be like,
Okay, thank you for the kind words. So what I do, I work as a cloud and DevOps consultant. So I have multiple clients. I only have one main motto of when I work. If a client approaches me, if I know, I take the task. If I do not know those things, I still take up the task. Learn it and do it. That's how I am surviving right now as a consultant. And with this, I have learned a lot of, like, my learning curve used to be this. Now it's going like this because a lot of clients have new demands. Like, let's say you're already working on pipelines. Let's say you're working on Jenkins. A client comes in and they say, no, we are not going to use Jenkins. We have a Circle CI subscription, or let's say we have GitHub Actions Enterprise. So quickly learn that, because if you know the basics, you can switch. That's what I do. And hopefully I'm continuing to do that again.
nice. So you can share about things also, like how you came to the cloud native world, how come you came to the consultant, like how was like why you decided to become the consultant. Another thing is so like you are reaching with various clients and you are like one of the experts in this background, right? So what is this thing like how to approach these clients, so you can also share about that.
Okay. So I'm still a beginner in the consultant world, so I cannot give you all the points, but yeah, definitely I have learned a lot of things my way, because you won't get a lot of resources on how to start freelancing. When I started, like, I did not have a guide. So what I did now, I mentor a lot of students like who come up to me. But how I started, I have tried everything. So what I was doing in my college, I was learning everything. So I was like, I have done web development, I went into software development, and from there then I came into DevOps and cloud. So firstly, like when I started DevOps, I started the wrong way. I did not know how to do. I came to know about specific tools and services, and I started just using them.
Right.
At that time I did not know that you need to know operating systems and networking through the base.
Yeah.
So I went back. I was like, now someone asked me, I'm like, go to your college, complete operating systems and networking, then come back and start if you want to start anything on DevOps. If you don't know the basics of Linux and everything,
Right.
containers and these things are just jargon words for you.
Right.
So I fixed that base for mine. So now I have quite a decent base. I know how kernels work and everything works. And then I started exploring things. Let's say, then I went step by step. Let's say I went on to containers. So on containers, there were two big names at that time: Docker, Podman. I mean, let's understand the difference in both. Like, Docker has you could say a service. A Podman does not have it. It works in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
So I understood that.
Yeah.
Because these basics are very important, because when you go into orchestration level, you need to know, okay, architectures and stuff. Like, let's say you build your image for 8664 architecture. That won't work on ARM as smoothly as you want.
Right.
Like in AWS, you would have heard people are using Graviton. They're like, your application is not ready for Graviton. You are going to migrate it, it's not ready. A lot of people say the Graviton is cheap, it's fast, we want to move to Graviton. You need to make sure, keep that in mind, that when you want to migrate, you need to do a lot of changes on the backend side. So I started learning. I was going step by step. I missed a step before that. So what I did was, I also took an overview. When I went to DevOps, in the beginning I told you I did a mistake. I was going tools by tools. I met a few people, I talked to a lot of people on LinkedIn, I contacted them, and they told me a very specific thing. DevOps is not just about tools, it's about culture, it's about how things work.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let me read some articles. I went on to Google, I searched a lot of articles, read them, and then when I came to the tools part, I took an overview. What things are possible in DevOps? DevOps is a big thing. Like, I have, let's say, 5 friends, all have the same title of DevOps engineer, but they are doing completely different things. Right. Someone is working completely on Kubernetes, someone is completely working on observability,
right.
Someone is working on pipelines, like completely different world, and all are DevOps engineers in different forms. So I'm like, okay. So I took an overview. What are the possibilities in DevOps? So I took, okay, observability, understood. We then have pipelines, understood. We then have application deployment, understood. Okay. Then you also need to understand how deployment cycle works, how your GitOps works. So I thought, okay, now I know the basics. Then I chose one tool from each and understood it. My preference was, let me pick an open source tool, because when I was a software developer, I had also started contributing to Fedora. As a tester, I was not doing any coding stuff or any documentation at that time. What you need to do in a Fedora community as a tester, you just need to download the Fedora image. They have test days, they have normal tests, they have package testing. Yeah. You download the packages, install, run, and see everything is working fine. Yes, go to the website, tick mark, pass or fail. That's all. That's what I was doing. But what happened was, doing this, I was able to interact with a lot of people, understand how things work. And they told me, whenever you want to start with anything, go with open source tools. So when I went on to Jenkins, then I went on to Docker, and I was also going to the readmes before those, like, to understand. Readmes are important, and the thing is, whenever you start with any tool, go to their community channel. Every open source tool has a community base around it. Like, someone will be on Slack, someone will be on Discord. Go over there, talk to people. They will help you out a lot. Right. So I was like, okay, now I know. When I took an overview of all the tools, I learned one tool from each. Now I know the basics. I know I have my basics strong as networking and operating systems. Now I also have strong basics on the part of all the tools. Now I was ready. What I was doing, what I was learning, I was posting them online. Right. That's how I got my first gig. It was from a UK based client. So he had, I think, something to make on security. So I'm like, okay, I will help you out. So I helped him. At that time, I did not have any intention of paying. I even did not know. How he approached me was, will you help me out? Oh. He read one of my articles. I'm like, okay. And at the end, he says, thank you for working for me. I will give me your bank details and I will transfer you the amount. And in the beginning, I have worked with a lot of people just for free. No money. I am like, okay, helping things. Right. And then AsecureCloud approached me, Osman Rashid, to be specific. And he had gone through one.
Which company?
Asecure.cloud.
AsecureCloud.
It's around AWS Cloud Security right now. So I'm like, okay. He had read one of my article, and they gave me a small task to perform and write an article around it. I was able to do it. I took some time, but I was able to do it, and they were like happy with it. And that was my first client that I onboarded. I have been working for them for a long time now. The 1.5 years.
It is nice feeling.
Yes, it's a very nice feeling. The growth, the learning, I learned a lot over there. I did not know how much compliances and security are important in these things. Like, a lot of things happen in compliances. I read a lot of documentations. I went like, why would I use open source service? I won't. For security compliance, I had to read, okay, open source service, these and these needs to be enabled, this needs to be disabled. Like, even in your compliance, people say, if you have encryption, you are compliant. No. Like, some compliance standards have, you should have customer based encryption. Some compliances say you should have your own bot key, like customer provided, as in you bring your own key instead of getting from AWS managed one. Oh. So there are multiple levels of compliance and everything. So I read a lot about it. And then I went on to Fiverr, freelancer, was able to pick some clients. Nice. And now I am not getting clients. I won't. And then I also connected to a lot of people. I have done what I prefer is, if you're doing a freelancing, prefer to have project-based jobs. There is another kind of freelancing. Not a lot of people openly talk about it. That's called shadow jobs. What they do is they go, like, someone is doing the job. You are just sitting as a support guy and helping them. Right. I have done that. I am guilty of it. I agree. But now I have a motto that I don't do it. If someone approaches me for that, I clearly say no.
To point out that it is also known as a work assistant, personal assistant.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So for me, it was moral decision that I am not going to do that, because like, you are deceiving people at a multiple levels. So I was like, no, I'm not going to. Now, like, from past few months, I have completely said no, that I'm not going to take any of these jobs. If you have normal jobs, I will definitely do it, but not those ones. Nice. And about picking up clients, yes, it's very difficult. I'm like, extremely difficult if you're a beginner. In the beginning, if you are like, and from my first gig, I will get this X amount. Don't expect that. Slowly, your pace will build, and you might start earning. Like, Rohit has posted charts where you would see a lot of platform names where you can go and you just go apply, and prefer to go to those platforms which are comparatively new. Like, if you go to Fiverr, a lot of people are already there. Right. So the competition is very huge. When you go to these new platforms, people are less. So you have
like
more chance of
that
getting
Guru and something, Guru 99.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you get gigs over there. Right. And the other option is be active. You don't need to be specifically freelancer in the beginning. If you want, go just be active on the communities, like be active on LinkedIn, keep talking to people. Either they will provide you gigs, and just keep that in mind. When you have work, you will get a lot of work. When you're sitting idle, you feel like no one is giving you work.
Right.
That happened to me. Like when I have interviewed with companies. I won't name the corporations because they're big corporations.
Right.
But I was like, they were not willing to pay me what I wanted. So I was like, and at that time, I was following Sandeep Das sir for a very long time, and like that he is one of those reasons because of which I stuck with what I was doing. I was like, no, I'm not going to move to any job or such anything. After giving a lot of interviews and having a discussion with HR, I'm like, no, I'm not going to go ahead with it. I'm going to stick with this. I was not getting paid a lot at that time. Like, not even, I cannot say the amount, but it was not enough, even bare minimum. I was like, it will increase with time.
Yeah, got it.
And it happened. I'm like, it's going on great. Hopefully it does go. That's how I've been doing things till now.
Yeah, like he's amazing guy. Like I have seen his journey from scratch. So it is really too nice. Talking more on the same side, like to summarize, he has told you about what the consultant do and like how he achieved his first client, right? It is the big thing. It is never easy. Another thing is like he has worked with various companies. So you can also share with them like which big clients you have worked with if it is feasible to you.
Naming clients, I won't take that risk.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure in which contract it would be written that don't name us. So
Yeah.
because some are security companies, some are like off camera we can talk about it, but on camera it's not
Right.
possible for me to do that.
So you can also share the journey of yourself, like how you started your cloud native journey. Because previously you were like,
Yes.
I've seen like you were working the IoT also, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I have seen you. So
I have not posted a lot of IoT projects. I like even my college final year project was an IoT based project. It was a Raspberry Pi thing. We developed a cloud biometric voting system kind of a thing. So like how your decentralized voting would work. Like right now it's a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
How we could move to over there. I was interested in IoT. I was doing development and stuff. And one day, like whenever you make stuff, deploying it a different channel. And when I saw that I need to deploy such a thing, I'm like, I came into it. I saw, okay, you need to, when you create a website, it's not just local hosting. You need to host it somewhere. So my first thing was, okay, there are GoDaddy like platforms. You give your website and it gets hosted. But I was like, no, there would be more than this. And I heard about a lot of things like people have their own servers and everything. And I had Raspberry Pi. I was interested in it. I was doing those kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, let's see, what's cloud. I'm like, I came up over here. The first service anyone starts with EC2. Create an EC2 instance. And I was like, the first thing I did was, I was not in free tier at that time, but I'm like, okay, I will have to pay some amount now. Like I have also done the day Mac instances launched for us. I had no idea how things work, how to create a Mac instance. You need to reserve something and then create a Mac instance, and that reservation is also a minimum time limit.
Yeah.
It's not like a normal EC2 instance. You create a EC2 and you delete it. In Mac, there's a reserve time.
Right.
I had no idea. I was like, I did it and I got a bill at the month end. I'm like, okay, a certain amount of pocket money will go over here.
Yeah. Right.
I have no issues about that. Because about learning, I go on like a weekend talk with Chirag sir. He hosts a kind of every Saturday.
Chirag Nair.
Yeah. So every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. our time, he hosts a kind of a normal chat, a meetup kind of thing, and globally people join it. And like we learn a lot about it over there. And a common thing I have heard about from a lot of people, if you want to learn seriously, you have to invest time and money. People think only free resources will do. I agree with that. If you are that kind of a guy who is self-motivated, who can do with all the free resources, well and good. But if you want to have a structured way of learning, it has a different kind of a kick. I have tried both. I have done both. Honestly, now I prefer paid ways. I would rather go to Cloud Academy because over there I will not only get the theoretical part, but I also get labs attached to it. And they also then guide you. Let's say I'm doing an AWS practitioner course or associate course. Over there, when they go to Kubernetes section, they would give you pointed resources that go to Docker, learn Docker first, and then come back. And then they have the Docker training and stuff also. Because everything is in a package. So you get you get everything. You learn Docker, you learn Kubernetes, then come to EKS. If you learn EKS and you don't know what is Kubernetes and what is Docker, what's the benefit of that?
Right.
Because in the end, cloud is hosting your basic services somewhere. You are just not hosting it. That's all.
Yeah. To point out, like he's learning while he's earning.
Yes.
So you should notice that point. Like if you're a student and you're going and spending the money on the paid courses, then definitely Ashish also will not recommend you that.
Yes, yeah.
If you are like corporate guy, if you're a consultant, then it is investment for you.
Yes, it's long term.
It is investment for your life. So don't think about much on this. If you think like you should buy it, like buy it.
Yes.
I have paid a subscription of various things,
Yeah.
which I'm paying the StreamYard for $25 per month. It is investment. Like I'm
Yeah.
not getting anything out of it, right?
Definitely.
It is just for community. So we do these things for the community, right?
Yes.
So point on these things, like I would like to ask nice thing, like how many cloud native projects you till date you have used?
Cloud native tools.
Cloud native projects, tools.
Oh, okay. Tools, a lot. In that case, you will have to list the tools, and I will say yes, no, yes, no. That's how it would go because I don't remember a lot of names. But projects, yes, like when I went over here, I get both kind of projects. I have worked on on-premise projects. I have worked on hybrid cloud projects. I have worked on cloud-specific projects, and I still do development also. As I told you, I was the ex-developer. I still continue to do that. If you think if you know development, and when you come into DevOps, it's very easy for you. Like let's say someone gives you a Flask app, and I being a developer, I was a Python developer, so I knew how Flask works.
Right.
I know how to host it in without using the CLI. It runs in the backend, like UVCon or something. Whatever you use, you know it. When you don't know, like you are not a developer, you are given a thing, and now you need to create a Docker file for it. You are like, what should I do? Either you need a complete README, you will ask for the developer.
Yeah.
If you know, you can at least figure out something. Or if you face an error, let's say I get a Python package error. I'm like, okay, he missed it in the requirements file. He might have installed it locally, directly.
Right.
So okay, I'm like, okay, this package is missing. Let me pull it in. Maybe version issue might come. Then I will ask the developer. But at least I can resolve half of the things. So the time a normal DevOps guy with non-development background would take for a guy who has done development, that times gets reduced drastically. Like, and I mean drastically, like 50%, 60% times gets reduced. And like when you are deploying stuff, because when you will come in Jenkins, a lot of things go on way routes. A lot of things don't work directly. Like let's say I need to do some deployments, let's say via Docker on some other machine. There are multiple ways possible.
Right.
I'm like, now I want to set up Jenkins pipeline. I'm like, okay, I can use Jenkins plugins for that, or maybe anything. My first preference is how to do everything in the break even point. So let's say someone says me, I need to deploy a Docker project via a pipeline somewhere. I'm like, okay, let me break these things.
Yeah.
We need to first build and deploy that. Okay, got it. I need to create Docker container, I need to deploy it, test it. First part is done. Second part is writing Jenkins. Okay, I have a Jenkins machine, correct. I need to connect the node where I need to do it. I get that node ready. I install all the Docker composer, whatever I want.
Yeah.
Done. Then I'm like, now I need to write the pipeline. Before writing the pipeline, what I do is I get another machine.
Yeah.
I do everything manually.
Oh.
A lot of people say that this is a slow method, but this is one of the most, I would say, a very trustworthy method, because you know these steps will definitely work. Even in this case, sometimes things don't work. Like let's say you are using a privileged container, non-privileged container, sudo command won't work. Let's say you forgot to configure sudo on the Jenkins. Now you're not able to do those things. So you're like, you need to configure a lot of things. That's why I told you. Let's say when you're using Jenkins, operating systems, users and groups is very important topic. Like when you install Docker, by default, only your sudo user can run it, or any user in the Docker group can run it.
Right.
What people do when they're learning, they're like, okay, sudo su and Docker commands. In production environment, that does not work. You need to add your user to the Docker group. Yes. You don't give them like all ch1777. That does not work. You need to be very specific on everything, because a lot of companies have to go through under compliances. They have a lot of things, because when you go on to production level, it's not just you. There are lawyers, there are compliances, there are standards. You need to take in everything. Like I had talked to a person who worked under compliances, as in his company was going under compliance reporting, and he told me not only compliances guys were sitting over there. We had our CEO sitting over there, we had our CTO sitting over there, we had compliance team sitting over there, and there was another lobby of lawyers, 10 or 11 lawyers, writing hundreds of documents, 100 pages of documents that okay, this and this should happen. I never knew that even lawyers are involved when compliance happens. And like he told me, if we mess up with the compliance, not only people, lawsuits will come, government will come after us. And I'm like, okay, that's very important. So like that should be done. Because like AsecureCloud, what I do over there, I do a lot of things over there. Like I have developed like on AsecureCloud. This might feel like advertisement, but it is not. So they have kind of two offerings. One as in open source kind of offerings, but the code is not openly available. It's like it's free for you, but it's not open source completely. And then we have the second options where we deal with our paid customers. In the free options, you will get a lot of free options like let's say a lot of people don't want to write transformation template or Terraform template.
Yeah.
We give you a form. Let's say you want to create a EC2 instance. Open the form, choose all your options, and you get a template ready. 3 templates ready to be specific: CLI template, Terraform template, and CloudFormation template. Now this has a premium version also. How premium version goes when you want to have a lot of services all together. I want to create a VPC. Inside VPC, I need to create a EKS cluster. Inside that, I need multiple managed groups. Then you need to pay to us. Otherwise, you don't need to. And if you have our premium package of subscription, you don't even need to pay for that.
Yeah.
It comes all under. But our main thing that we do is compliance and security. We scan your account, as in you connect your account to our services. You create IAM role, you give us access, scan only access. We scan your account and give you a good dashboard UI of how your account compliant is. Like let's say a lot of your S3 bucket is not there, so and you can go under S3 and see, okay, my bucket has a public access, I need to disable it. We also give you remediation options. So I have not written a lot of things in over here, but a lot of things in the backend I have done. I told you I shall do coding. So over there, and when I was doing this, a lot of service I would not have dealt with regularly, like guard duty, security hub. I had no idea. When I was coming over here and security, I only knew that there are certain compliance. I'm like, now I deep dive into guard duty, I deep dive into config rules, I deep dive into cloud trail. Now I would not say I know everything, but I know a very deep concept of everything. Okay, this and this things are possible. Like when I started working with GCP, in GCP I don't think there is anything that is completely unencrypted. By what I don't quote me on that, but most of the services I have gone through are at least GCP encrypted from their side.
Okay.
They never leave anything completely unencrypted.
Right.
That is a good point. But in AWS, I think there are services where you can have complete encrypted things probably, like EBS volumes, completely encrypted. You don't need to encrypt it. So that's a difference. And what my understanding is, basics are important across clouds. Basics change, but a lot of things with basics, other than basics, also change. Like networking in AWS, networking in GCP, completely different.
Yeah.
Like in AWS, it's region wise. In a region, you get a VPC. In GCP, no, there is only one VPC, and under there, you have subnets across the regions you can choose. So it gets completely different. So don't think that it's completely. So when you come to GCP, take it with a straight mind.
So you have worked with the security open source projects also.
Yes, I have contributed to Steampipe on open source, if I would say. Only Steampipe on open source. I have worked with other closed source also, but that's the one where I completed. Like for them, I also contributed to via CIS workbench. So like all the compliance standards have their own workbenches. So CIS was the one wherein they had some rule issues actually. So on the Steampipe, I had helped them fixed. I had reported them. I was not able to fix it at that time because they work in a certain way. I did not had a lot of experience with SQL and everything at that time. So I'm like, okay, I will not be able to fix it. At least I can tell them. So they fixed it. And a lot of things they also take from these workbenches to have prepare things, because CIS workbench is the main place where all the actual rules and things get decided. So I'm like, okay, I was enrolled that platform, but because of an activity, your account gets removed. Workbench removes it. So over there you get to know. The thing is, I could have directly put it in CIS, but when I talked to the Steampipe guys, they told me on CIS you get a long form. It's like when I also opened it and I said, okay, it's a tedious task, and I was like, I did not feel like. So I submitted my issue. I created my issues on the Steampipe repository. They created their issues over there. It was fixed over there. It drilled down over here. I'm like happy. Then I fixed some documentation for them. They had spelling mistakes, some wrong descriptions and everything. I fixed them. I'm like, because, and they are also being contributed by people. Not a lot of people contributing to it. I don't think so. Steampipe, a lot of people contribute, but yes, it's very important. But they are like, it's a very good tool. Like a lot of free tools are there that people have no idea about. There is, I don't remember, I'm missing the name of one of the services, one of the tools. One of my acquaintances on LinkedIn has reached me out. It's around AWS billing and stuff. It's a great tool. I'm missing the name out of it. I will have to check my LinkedIn to get the exact name. But that's a fabulous tool. And I'm like, there are a lot of tools that people don't know about. Like even if you go on, because what people do is when like let's say they want to see security, they go to AWS website and they see, okay, the listed names. AsecureCloud is now listed, so over there we are as an official partner with them. So I'm like, okay, this is Aqua Security, Trend Micro, big names.
Yeah.
So people know a lot about these, but so not a lot of people come to the other side. They should see the other side. There is another side where you could benefit from a lot of things.
Yeah, they also have the open source project, right? Trivi for scanning aqua security.
For aqua security, the only open source I have dealt with them is Cloudflare.
Okay.
I have not dealt with Trivi. Probably, like, I told you, I am still on the learning.
Yeah, I know.
Like, every day we learn a new tool
Yeah.
or a new thing.
Yeah, so definitely we came to this point. So I would like to ask about, like, you learned everything while doing the projects.
Yes.
So it is completely project based learning, right?
Yes, exactly.
So what do you think? Like, project based learning is good, or like learning through the courses and like daily some things and learning theory and then checking the blogs and then learning from some institute or directly buying the course. So like Coursera and Meet and MIT and various courses freely are also available, right? So what do you think?
So this would be an opinionated answer mostly. So when someone asks me, recommend me a course, I never recommend them a course.
Okay.
I'm like, everyone has their own choice of how their mentor would guide them. I'm like, some people prefer English, some prefer Hindi, some prefer fast English, some prefer slow English. Like on Udemy, if you see my Udemy account, there would be more than 100 courses on my account, which I bought. I'm like, I try some of them, I like them, I complete them. If I don't like them, I get a refund.
Right.
They have a refund policy. I'm like, okay, you do that. You can go with the official training partners, but in AWS, they have their official training partners, as in not the normal training companies. I'm talking about certified ATPs, Amazon training partners. In that case, training partners does not decide the course or the price. I came to know about this when I went to User Group Pune event, the community day over there. So Trainocat India had come over there, and from their team, Anshuman Sen, he was giving a talk, and I was very interested in it. I'm like, first time I came to know that AWS has such kind of a program. I'm like, I went to him, and when everything went completed, I'm like, I raised my hand. Everyone asking different questions. My question was, how do I become the trainer? Because a lot of people are teaching AWS.
Right.
How to become the AWS trainer. He scared the shit out of me. He was like, it's difficult. But in this, when you do our course, AWS defines everything. The course structure, the price, even if you look at the ATP list, the prices are defined by AWS. Like in India, if there are 10 training partners, all will have the exact same price and same course curriculum.
Oh, okay.
AWS is the one managing it. Like, let's say I go to XYZ training center.
Yeah, but I have seen this popular thing, like when it is training partners, they do define the price raise. Yeah.
Yes.
But what happens afterwards? Like they provides it like this much discount we will provide, and then price gets lower than the other partners. So that is also
in this case they cannot do that.
Oh.
Amazon trading partners, but I have talked with Anshuman over there. They told me no, AWS defines it. We need to follow it strictly.
Oh, got it.
Probably at a corporation level, when you're taking at the training at a very big level, maybe there would be some organization discounts.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. It's valid for everyone.
Nice, got it.
And even if you talk to AWS folks, like if your company is a AWS ATP partner or something like that, that guy from the support from AWS would ask you to prefer these companies. They would share this list to you. They would not mention like go to any random place, because they know that's a proper AWS course. Because I have done courses which like where people are teaching either half-baked information. Like one question I love very much. This was also asked by someone in AWS UG Pune event. Are security groups stateless or stateful? And explain the difference between stateless and stateful. A lot of people are confused what stateless is, what stateful is, what NACL is. Because these are very confusing. I'm still confused. Like if you're talking about what is that, I'm not sure if it's stateful or stateless. But I can tell you why it is that. How network traffic happens and those things. It's not like, let's say, why I told you basics are very important in the beginning. The only reason behind that was, let's say tomorrow you work on multi-cloud. You are connecting your Azure VPC, virtual private cloud, and your AWS VPC. Now you need to understand that two VPCs cannot have same CIDR ranges. You need to make sure, like what people do, they create subnets and they are like, let's say they create their first VPC and they give 10.0.0/16. Everything used. In the production world, if you do that, and let's say you want to add another VPC for some reason in the same CIDR range with a different subnet mask, it's not possible, because AWS allows you to expand, but it does not allow you to decrease it. So now you are it. Either you delete everything and do everything, or you come back. So a lot of decisions are to be taken very carefully over there. Like one thing I openly talk about is like for my AWS account, when I have credits, what I do is Like not everyone gets credit because I attend a lot of events, so I get credits. I sometimes when I do not have credits, I pay the bill. I have no issue. So what I did recently, like last month, a friend of mine was giving an exam and he needed AWS access. He did not have credits. I'm like, sharing the account is not a good idea. Then came me because I've been working in security. So I'm like, let's use what I have learned.
Yeah.
SSO is free.
Yeah.
I set up account SSO.
SSO.
I created him, and with that, I also when you do these things, in SSO, I made sure that he has to use an MFA. He has to use a strong password and everything. So I am sure that from his point also, my account will be secure, right? To a certain reason. And of course, I will not share this account with everyone, even if SSO. If you are a close aid of mine or someone, I would easily do that because over money is involved. And I have seen people talk about how the bill, like when you're a student, don't be afraid of having high bills. AWS helps you out a lot. Like if you do it by mistake and you talk with the support team, they waive it off for you.
Yeah.
For the mistakes, not if you do it. Not for that, but they do it. So like a lot of people are afraid that we might get a bill or something like that. Don't worry about it. Under free tier, if you whenever you are doing something in the free tier, now even they added a free tier option on their billing page. Like over there, you can see, go to the free tier section and you can see how much my free tier is utilized.
Oh.
So you can see, okay, my EC2 is going to be consumed, so let me stop all my EC2. I do not need them. Like for EIPs, Elastic IPs. So there is a very basic rule. If your Elastic IP is in use, you will not be charged for it.
Yeah, this is for AWS, right?
Yes.
But other cloud providers also have the same, right?
So let's say for GCP does not have a free tier. They give you credits directly.
Yeah.
So over there you have
$300, right?
Yeah. So you have a complete different kind of visibility over there.
Oh, okay.
You put your billing alerts. Okay, if it's going, let's say my threshold is $300. Add for a $250. If going beyond that, alarm me.
But I'm seeing it is like more cloud oriented kind of a thing. But do you use the cloud native projects also? Means like this is entire cloud services, right?
Yes.
But is there any client who just want you for the cloud native projects, no, not cloud and stuff? So what do you do?
Not exactly like completely cloud native, no, because no one is going completely on cloud.
Oh, okay.
What I have seen, like
Yeah.
everyone is going in a mix. Like even like some clients are like they want to stick on a specific AWS. Let's say they are not even going to use like let's say they want to set up secrets. They would only prefer AWS secret because they want to remain the AWS ecosystem.
Yeah.
Some are like, no, we want the best. So they choose, let's say for pipeline, they would say, we like Circle CI more than GitHub Actions and everything. They will choose Circle CI for pipelines. They will say, okay, now we want to store our Kubernetes secrets. Where should I? Or anonymous secrets. They go to HashiCorp Vault because it's the best in their domain according to them. Like they do POC. So it depends on the client to client and their requirements. And a lot of time, me being as a consultant, I do not control the decisions, but I still have enough leverage that I can at least guide them to, okay, let's use this tool instead of this tool.
Got it.
And I also give them an idea, okay, why I'm preferring over this tool. Because sometimes X tool also has those features, Y tools also has those features, but sometimes Y tool is like implementing it better. Like a lot of like one of the major differences between Datadog and New Relic. Datadog charges on your hosts, New Relic charges on your users. And your how much data ingestion happens. First 100 GB is free, and after that they charge you per GB some cents. I'm not sure exactly what the amount, but the pricing system is different. So some people prefer your New Relic for this reason. They are like, I can add any number of hosts, so they prefer that. But some have like I know companies who only prefer Datadog for some reason, so they have their own reason for doing that. So about cloud native, see, I'm a big fan of CNCF. So I follow them very closely. Kubernetes and your service mesh and everything. I have been reading a lot. And like in the end, it's a whole ecosystem. Everything is connected. So if you think you are going somewhere and you are going to work on a specific zone of things, in my opinion, in my experience, I have not seen that happen. Probably it happens in some firms, but in my experience, I have not seen that exactly.
Yeah, like observability, for observability, I guess only open source they choose.
No.
Okay.
No. So people tend to pay. I have clients who are using Datadog and New Relic at full level. Like New Relic and Datadog, like these tools are not just about observability now. Like I went to a New Relic user group meetup, I think last week or last week, I don't remember the exact day. And they have these quarterly. So they tell you what new things have come up. So this time I heard about, it's a very basic feature. You won't even think that this feature is required, but it's a very good one. It's something known as vulnerability management.
Oh.
So what happens in that is, let's say I have an application. So they are not going to ask for your code access.
Oh.
They have been already you set up your New Relic agent on the infrastructure or in your code via let's say APM, application monitoring. So they had already been pulling things out, but they were not using it previously, like what packages are being used and everything. So what they do is they already had this data. Now they check in the NIST database that which packages versions are having any issues. So they would tell you, okay, this is the CV number and this is having this issue. Please fix it or update to this version.
Got it.
They are not asking for your code access. To be fair, like over there, a lot of people had the same question: are you going to ask for our code access? They are like, no, we are not going to ask for a code access. Even if you are using a jar application, a built application over there, they cannot reverse engineer it that easily. So you already have your APM monitoring installed. They were already getting a lot of data. Now they're just utilizing it to give you more better features. Like New Relic has a lot of other features on, let's say, your developers. They have this code stream and those kinds of things. Specifically focus on developers, like they get error mass to lines and those things.
Right.
I will not go in complete detail, but yeah, it's more than just observability. You can stay on open source also. Like,
Yeah.
it depends on, it's a personal preference. When you go on paid version things, you get two things: support,
Yeah,
that's very important, and the second thing is sometimes features also. Some extra features they added because you're paying for it, you get it.
And like enterprise versions has this thing like you can ask for the features and they
Yes.
will add it.
Exactly, that's what I love about all these companies, whichever we talk about, including AWS, GCP, all have their very strong feedback mechanisms. For GCP, let's say I see an issue, they have this issue tracker page. Right now I have two not very big issues open. I opened them because on CLI works just fine. On Google Cloud Console, like I can tell you what that issue was. So I used to click the delete button for a resource. It used to say proceeding. The circle used to complete,
Yeah.
and nothing would happen. So something, of course, would be happening on the GUI. So I went to the GCP issue tracker and I'm like, let's go to this page and open an issue. And yeah, they have been working on it. They have said as soon as they get time, they will fix it.
Right.
In AWS also have like a while back, I think 6 or 7 months back, one of their consoles, I don't remember which one, but one of their consoles are broken. As by broken, I mean it was gone completely bad. So a lot of people would have definitely given a feedback about that, and they fix it as soon as possible. So they have very strong feedback mechanisms. Like in you get beta access. Like for New Relic, if
Right.
you are an enterprise customer, they will give you a beta access for a lot of services. Try them if you like them, use them, and like genuinely, a lot of companies use a lot of these services. Like from New Relic, I came to know about a firm known as Tokopedia. It's Indonesia.
Tokopedia, yeah, it is popular.
Like Tokopedia's, like you can say full team comes on a New Relic event. Like they're a very big user of New Relic. I heard this when they were talking. Your Tokopedia has around 5,000 dashboards, and I was like, what do you do with those dashboards? Like when I went to these talks and I talked to folks, observability is not just about metrics and logs and alerts. It's way beyond that. Companies are using your logs and metrics to improve their customer experience. They are like, okay, our web page loading time is 5 seconds. How can you bring down to 2 seconds so that customer experience gets better?
Got it.
And like these have been used in, like if you go to these talks and talk to how observability is being used, it's gone way beyond those alerts.
Right.
Like when they set up that, then they go to these further steps, and it's very important.
Got it. Yeah, so it is like these companies which is like provide the support. They provide you the older version supports.
Yes.
They provide you the multi-tenancy, like you can work with a team. So that's why enterprise version exists. It is not just like they are creating the open source projects, like building the products on the open source projects. Different, like you get the use cases, but at the start you are just startup or something, then definitely no one will recommend you choose the open source project. But as you grow, you need that stuff. So these companies are really adding the value. Besides, like I guess we covered most of the points, but I would like to add most important question here, like do one can survive with the consultant charges? Like everyone thinks like, yeah, salary, you remote jobs and stuff, you will get nice salary and stuff, but consultant is like everywhere. It is like, yeah, it is the top rated payment kind of a thing, but I guess it depends on the customer to customer and consultant to consultant and which technology he is providing the consultancy and stuff. But yeah, you are the right guy to ask.
See, if you're talking about how I would survive, or like a person can survive as a consultant, that's it. That's you asked.
Yeah.
Yes. It's difficult. Honestly, getting gigs and things, it's very difficult. Like all the companies have their own requirements. Like a lot of firms are, when startups or organizations, they prefer consultancies instead of a single consultant. Let's say if they hire only me and tomorrow I go A1, I am not available. So now they are in a fix. What should I do? When they go through consultancy will have a replacement for me ready. If I go on a break, someone behind me will do the things for me. So a lot of them prefer, but a lot of like for freelancing, most of the gigs you would get are small projects. Like on Freelancer and Fiverr, what I've seen is you don't get long-term projects that much. You get,
I guess they get in top 10, right?
you do get, but
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah,
is the thing.
competition.
And like people with higher experience, anyone wants them.
Right.
If they're gonna have to pay slightly more, they do prefer that because when they see their reviews and ratings, they are like they kind of trust. That is why I also work with consultancies, different consultancies. I'm like, I'm working with them. So they gave me the job. They take certain percentage. I'm happy with it. I have no issues. I'm like, okay, no problem. I also work in partnership with a lot of people. Like, okay, you give me the job, I will work for you. I don't have any issues. So like, there are a lot of ways in how a freelancer can survive.
Right.
But it's not easy as it looks. Like a lot of people ask me, you travel to a lot of events. Are you being sponsored for all the events or such kind of things? No. And they're like, do you have a lot of time? No. You need to, like, there are like, I take a lot of time out of my family time. People have their weekends, Saturday, Sundays, they enjoy family. I work on a lot of Sundays just to attend these events. Even Rohit knows, like, wherever he goes, he finds me. If he's coming to an event, I have gone to Pune, I have gone to Jaipur, like, any event I find, I see, I just apply for it, I book my tickets and I travel. The thing is now, what's the benefit of this? I have met a lot of people, I have talked to a lot of people. Like, what are the chances that I would have met Ganesh, the co-founder of Confirm?
Yeah.
Like, today I had a very long chat with him. Discussed about a lot of things, learned about a lot of things, could give a feedback on a lot of things. I understood how startups work and things work because you won't get this idea because I stay at home. As a freelancer, I do not have an office to go to or interact with people. So these events are my sources to interact with people and learn a lot of things. I'm telling you, it's difficult and straight up, it's very difficult. One word. That's all. But if you want to survive, if you are into it, if you are doing it regularly,
yeah,
you will be able to.
Point one thing, like if you can share, right? What is your like top most gig and how much did you earn for the same?
For pricing, it varies. Like for my second gig, that was my highest paid one.
Oh.
So I haven't got like full-time gigs after that, but that was around. I had not asked for any amount. I think he was also based out of London or somewhere from Europe only. So I'm not sure what. Yeah. So he had a couple of things to be created, like around security and stuff. So I'm like, I agreed upon it, and we were working. He had told me that he would pay me. Like, I have a very bad style. A lot of people say that before you start work, you discuss about the payment.
Right.
Even if I tell you my client names and you go and ask them, did he discuss about the payments beforehand? 99% would say no, he never discussed about how much he should get paid. And like, what my belief is, if I'm working fine, sooner or later my payment will increase somehow.
Yeah.
My second gig, he paid me 4 installments and the total was about 60,000.
60,000.
And I was like, wait, what? The previous gig gave me only 5,000. So this is a big jump. And then again, next week was on 10,000. I'm like, okay, this and this. So we do not have a stable income. Like, let's say I'm working on hour basis. So some months I would clock 90 hours. I will get paid according to 90 hours. Some clocks, like last month, I think, or last month maybe, I was traveling a lot. So my clocked in hours came down to I think 50 or 60 hours. That amount is reduced to half directly. People are like, we don't have a stable income. But you can survive. If you are doing things the right way, yeah, if you're splurging your money, you're earning and splurging, that's not the way. So I am like very specific about a lot of things in economics. Not related to this, but I'm very specific about those things. Like, I have fixed amount that I need to spend this much on this. I also have exceptions. Let's say I need to, my monthly limit is exhausted for some reason, and I see an event happening, let's say in Kochi, and I want to attend it. I'm like, I will take some amount from my savings, and I'm like, let's go to Kochi.
Right.
Somehow I will meet a lot of people over there and talk to a lot of people over there. They will help me guide. Like, for me, over money comes knowledge right now. Maybe at later stage, these things might get reversed, but right now, what my concept is, money has priority. It is required for a lot of things, but there are things above money for me also right now. Maybe because I never faced the crisis situation out of money. Maybe that is why I have that mindset, because people have different experience with the money, so they think about it differently. That's how it happened for me.
Nice. thanks for sharing this wonderful thoughts about cloud native consultant and DevOps consultant, I would suggest. So, like, he has exceptional experience. I met him around like 2-3 years back, and I can guarantee you, like, he knows more technical than me. I'm just a guy who is active all over things, but these are the guys who work really nicely, and he's not only one of my friends. There are most of these friends who are working day and night with various clients, and they don't work with any company, they work with different companies. And one of my friend, we will come with that friend afterwards, but he is like working with four companies, and he has long term clients, that thing, right? So for 1 year he has booked 4 clients.
We need to bring him in. I know who I'm talking about. I
Yeah,
need to bring
like
him.
thank you for joining me after this entire event of today, like comedy day. We were there, and thanks for coming, joining, and hope like our audience will enjoy this session. And if you like the things, and if you have any doubts and stuff, you can ask in the comments also, and I will share his handles, so you can directly ping him.
Yeah.
He will be available in day. So, but thing is, like, he will little reply late, but yeah, he will surely reply you, and you can ask the doubts and stuff. So thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.